Welcome to SMOPPY'S world. This is your beautiful, ever-smiling host, Lady Ola. SMOPPY'S world is where we talk about real-life issues. We talk about faith, family, health, relationships, career, marriages, and many more. I share priceless lessons from my well of experiences, and I'm sure you will have one or two to take home and put to use. If you have been following me this far, I want to say thank you for sticking around. And if you're new here, you are highly welcome to my world. Don't forget to follow me on all my social media platforms coming up on your screen right after this episode. If you missed last week's episode, you need to go watch it so that this episode can really make sense to you. So without wasting too much time today, my husband is back here with me today because we have an unfinished business from last week on becoming the best spouse, and look into how one can become the best spouse in a relationship. We talked about the habit of highly effective partnership and self-improvement tips that was given to you on relationship success. Dr. Victor, welcome back to SMOPPY'S world.
Thank you for having me.
Come on, we have an unfinished business. You know that, right? We are here to just finish what we started last week.
Right. I'm happy to be here.
How are you today? Let me ask.
I'm doing good. I'm happy to be here and everything is just good.
You know, I thank God for every day that I wake up in the morning and I open my eyes and I see you beside me, and I thank God for
Hallelujah.
I'll let you calm down. So today we want to continue with what we started last week. And today I want us to start to talk about how we can balance individuality in our partnership. Sometimes when we are in relationship, especially when we are in marriage, let me just speak for myself because I know I did this. I stopped living. I dropped myself. Like the moment I married you, I just thought, I don't matter anymore. I have to focus on you and give all my best. So everything that I used to love to do, I dropped it. But one of the things that I love about you in these 24 years that we've been together is you didn't drop yourself. You kept you and the things that you value, the things that you love doing. You didn't leave you behind. You brought yourself into the relationship. That really do get to me sometimes. I'll be like, is marriage not supposed to be sacrifices? Is it not supposed to be changes? Is it not supposed to leave what you used to do behind? But when I saw you doing it continually and I saw the joy that it brought you and the way your life is in our marriage, it started to change me and I started to bring me back to me. So I want us to talk about that today, that how can one balance the individuality in the relationship without having to leave you behind and don't bring that into the relationship.
Right. So the first thing I want to say, maybe it's going to what the value is, look, your spouse must not be the center of your happiness.
Come on.
Your spouse, believe me, only contributes
To your happiness.
to your happiness. Your spouse should not be the center of your happiness. You are the center of your happiness. You are the one that needs to be sure that you are happy. If you get that, everything else I'm going to say from here will make sense. No one can make you happy. They can contribute, but your real source of happiness comes from you. And that is where I start to define individuality. Individuality is the core of your being. If we peel everything out, what we find that makes it impossible to have another you, that God didn't make two of you, that is what individuality is. Individuality is the core of your being. Your personality is built around it, yes, but people do cultivate behaviors that contribute to their personality.
Right.
Some people learn how to smile even when they don't really have smiling in them. Some of those things can shape your personality, but the core of your being cannot be influenced by external factors. They produce what you release on the outside. So you can't afford to lose you because nobody benefits from who you are not.
You're not.
So when you have a spouse or a partner, it's important that you have to let them be them. You have to let her be her, and you have to let him be him. Because you can't get anything great from someone who has not been allowed to be themselves. It's very impossible, right? I love politics, right?
American politics.
Okay, I love the American politics. I love to talk about American politics. That's not what you love to talk about.
No.
That's not your thing. Now, I'm just using that as an example. Making me to give that up is making me to shed things that makes me happy. So I love church. I love doing church. And when I say I love doing church, doesn't mean I really love God. So I don't want people to misunderstand that, because a lot of people love church that they don't love God. When they are in church, they are happy. Let them be that. Let the real you give you the power and capacity to help your partner. Because if you lose you, you have no value.
Wow. It's funny that you said that.
Sounds like you want to make this really serious. Okay, let me see right.
It's funny you said that, because in my first marriage, I was me. I went into that marriage being me. But the moment I stepped into that marriage, the guy took me out of me. And he made me to be who he wanted. And he took everything that I used to love about myself, the way I used to dress, the way I used, the friends I used to keep. He took everything away from me. He took everything. Stripped me off everything that I loved. And at the same time, he was expecting me to give him what I didn't have, which is sadness and, sleeping, just sit down there and be boring. I didn't have that because I was not me. So there are many people who believe that once, especially men, now let me put in gender, especially men that believes that once they marry a lady, she has to drop everything about her. That's called life. The life that they saw her in before they married her. Yeah. They want her to drop that life.
Right.
And then they still want to be satisfied.
Right.
They still want that woman to give them everything that they want.
Right.
But what drew the woman to them that they're supposed to keep? They simply because other men can be looking at them outside.
Right. Right.
They want that person to drop it.
Yeah.
So what do you say to people like that?
I think it's ignorance. So let me explain this. So I will still take a cue from the fact that you can't get the best out of anyone that you have made to lose themselves. Okay? So that's clear. Now, whatever attracted you to this person, whatever made you to consider this person to be the one, now, if you want to start to make him lose himself, you start to lose that. So for us as men, for example, I still remember one beautiful day, because when I met you in church, okay? And I met you in a very conservative church where women have to cover up, dress up, cover their head and all of that. So I didn't see the beautiful you that I later got to see. So on that first day, I saw a typical traditional church girl who was dressed nothing, but you were still attractive to me. However, there was this very morning after we started talking and I visited from LA, and in the morning you were getting ready to go to work, and I saw you in this nice short skirt. I was like, wow. It's like you shouldn't go to work. Come on, baby, don't go to work.
Man's gonna go to work.
Because I didn't know that you have that. It's that simple. Every human being have something that makes them happy. Simple way of dressing. If you take that away from her, it becomes a real problem. You've taken the person out of himself or herself. Men are, what do I say to them? Look, it is what's attractive to you about your wife that makes you the man. Okay?
Repeat that so that the audience can hear.
Yeah, seriously. What makes your wife attractive to you and is now your wife is what makes her your wife. So I tell those people who wonder why you call yourself a pastor, oh, look at his wife. You've changed your dressing recently and I didn't have any problem with that either. But the truth about it is that when I go to the store to buy you clothes, I buy you clothes that when you wear them, I want another man to look. I want, when you come out of the car, I want a man to look and turn around and say, oh my God, she's beautiful. That's me. That's the kind of person that I am. And therefore, it starts with the fact that I want you to be you. And I'm confident enough to know that I am the best in the relationship, meaning I bring my best. So most women don't go looking for another man because they were just looking for someone to be, and therefore they are cheating in their relationship. That's not the discussion, I know. But the truth about it is the fact that they have a shoulder to cry on to recover themselves. And sometimes a fake guy will give you that because it's temporary. So keep your relationship in a way where you don't lose your wife by making her to lose herself. If you're not confident about yourself, boy, I can't help you, mate. Because if you are the one, Mr. Man, she ain't going for nobody because you are the man. So don't lock her out of what makes her happy.
When you talk about when you saw me in church and the way I was dressed, you couldn't place when you saw me with the short skirt with the what I was wearing as a church girl. And that's where I want us to read, because the way you see people doesn't mean that that's who they are.
Right.
I didn't choose to dress like that. The system forced me to dress like that.
Right.
My real person and the way I'd always loved to dress is the one that you saw when I was going to work in the morning. That's the real me. There are people that who they are is hiding under who they're not.
Correct.
When they come into relationship, like you said last week about whatever that bring you to the table, you have to keep perfecting it. Some people, they come into that relationship and they just want to keep being who they are, and they believe that that's what they can give to the relationship. But when they are now being caged, it becomes difficult for us to be able to have a successful marriage, because I'm living your life. I'm living the life that you want. Yeah. I'm not living the life that I want. Yeah. So then it becomes a one-man show. It's not a partnership anymore, because partnership, you bring something, I bring something to the table.
True.
We merge it together, then we have success.
Right.
Am I right?
You're right. Absolutely right. I think the moment we remember that every little element of who you are that you lose brings you closer to unhappiness. Because everything you love to be and to do gives you fulfillment. It's a fulfilled spouse that is a blessing to produce and support a fulfilled man. An unfulfilled spouse can never add value and make a fulfilled man. Vice versa. So let each other know what makes us happy. For me, as a person by nature, things that I love to do, you can't really take away from me. Some of us have characters and vices that counters our virtue. Yeah. Those can be changed because those things doesn't really make you happy. The core of your happiness is in who you are. For example, not allowing me to talk when I want to talk, putting a subject matter on the ground and you're not allowing me to participate in it takes the real me out of me, right? Not giving me the privilege of somewhere to just share my opinion takes the real me out of me. And that's why I say to you all the time, it doesn't matter how much money I make in my career. The only thing that makes me happy is the fact that I can still help people.
Yes.
That I can speak to someone and it can change their life.
Yes.
That I can interact with someone and I can point them in the right direction. It's not every amount of money, whatever amount of money I made out of my career is to support that. Because what really makes me is that. And guess what? That's what you came to support. In all of these years, that's what you have always supported. Can you imagine the amount of work we did in Saudi Arabia for the church? Which man can do that without the right woman that let you be you? You know,
yes.
The amount of money we are spending on the church we have in Nigeria. Which woman is going to let you do that? Unless she knows this is who you are and I'm going to support you to let you be who you are. Those little things is what generate happiness. The happy man is the man that you allowed to let him be himself.
Yeah, and I really appreciate that in you, because you allow me to be me. And sometimes even when I forget about me, you will always push me and say, honey, you gotta be you, do you, go have fun. And sometimes I can see that you were frustrated at some point. Like, what is wrong with this woman? It's not because I do not want to have life. It's because of the past situation that I had, that I still had a hold over my life. Like, I'm still feeling that, I'm still not free. But gradually you had that patience to guide me through, to say, come on, you can do this. Come on, let's go do this. Let's go get this done. I want to pray for someone there today who are in that relationship that where they are caged and their partner is not encouraging them, is not supporting them to be who they are, but they are controlling. I just pray that their men will have a change of heart. They will come to realization and understanding that really stopping your woman to being who they are, it brings you no value.
It doesn't.
And you gain nothing from it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Listen, if you're listening to us, I want to hear your story. Let's know what is your story. What do you think about being yourself in your relationship? How important is it for you? How do you value being yourself in your relationship?
Can I quickly say something?
Yes.
Before you close this individuality thing, I think it's important to know that the reason why this issue of individuality is so critical is the fact that your person is not a match to everyone.
Look how the camera say that.
Oh, camera, where are you, camera? They just want me to tell you this. Your person is not a match for everyone. You are not a one-size-fits-all person. Every individual must look for that which complements them. You understand what I'm saying? Because I want to be myself. Yourself is not good for me. What do you want me to do about that? You want to be yourself, but that yourself is not good for me. That is the problem. We don't get to see that yourself until you settle in, have the ring in, have your stomach up, and baby is coming down, and then it becomes a problem. For me,
everything's sagging.
I'm telling you now, well, the truth about it is you need to know. As a young person, you will be unhappy most part of your life when that person that you are is taken away from you just for you to fit into the life of somebody else. So watch that. Understand who you are and understand the kind of person that accommodates and see value in who you are.
In who you are. As we round up, one of the things that makes marriage unpleasant or unsuccessful is lack of communication.
Yep.
If a marriage is going to be successful, communication is the key. Am I right to say that?
You're right. Absolutely. In everything. It's not just marriage.
What tips can you give us on communication, making sure that your communication is a top-notch, that allows you or help you to navigate arguments? Because if you don't know how to communicate, you won't know how to resolve conflicts in marriage. So talk to us as we round up on that.
Right. So let me say it this way. You must fight.
You say must, yeah.
You have to fight. You have to fight.
It comes with it.
You have to fight. And I'm not saying fighting from the angle of violence. I'm using the word fight for making sure you struggle together to find a common ground. That's what the fight is. A fight of relationship is finding a common ground.
Common ground.
Let me explain something to you about communication in relationship.
Yes.
Your spouse communicates from the position of a confidant, all right? There are different types of friends, okay?
Yes.
And you can be couples or you can be a spouse to somebody who you are not a friend to.
Yes.
A spouse or spouses communicate from the position of confidence, okay? Let me explain that. When you have comrades or you have, just people, constituents, your constituents are just people you have common enemies. Okay. So because you have common enemies, you don't tell each other the truth.
True.
As far as you are telling the truth concerning the enemy.
The enemy, that's right.
All right. So they don't cover you. The moment they cross carpet, you are no more important. So it's common friends. But confidence protect you outside and tell you the truth inside. Spouses needs to communicate from the position of confidence. So what does that mean? It means you must have open mind when your spouse say, I want to talk.
And not shut him or her down.
You must have open mind. Don't shut him down. Don't shut her down. But have open mind. Because spouses don't have nice communication. They have to go through a very difficult conversation. If you want to talk about money, it's going to be difficult conversation. If you want to talk about the kids, it's going to be difficult conversation. And you can't have difficult conversation without open mind. That's one. So always have open mind. Know that the other person is not communicating or saying what he's saying to break up. All right? It's communicating to build up. All right. So if you have an open mind, your communication will fix things. Your communication will do what? Will fix things. Yeah. But it has to start with open mind. Trusting that your husband is not saying something from the position of envy, from the position of jealousy. No, he's talking from position of a confidant.
Yes.
Someone who will protect you outside.
Yes.
But when you get inside it will show you exactly, bring in the naked truth. Number 2, you must listen. You know this problem. That I have this problem.
Don't
I can talk, but I used to have a difficulty listening. Not that I go against what you're saying, not that I'm going to be interjecting or interrupting you. No, what I do is I immediately conclude where you're going to end.
Yeah.
So I immediately get my answer ready. That's not listening. Yes, you are quiet. Yes, you pretend like you are listening, right? But you are not listening. I'm telling you. I've been there. I know that.
To attack.
You are waiting to defend instead of listening to correct and accept the truth for improvement. You see, like we said last week, your self-improvement comes from conversation and communication. So open mind, be a good listener, and be ready to correct. Don't just tell okay, how harder you are, yeah. But let's see the impact, delivering the change. And lastly, no matter what, there is no reason for us starting talking here if we are not starting from a position that's different. That's where the conflict is coming from. We are already in two different positions. So we are trying to come to a common ground. You must always resolve with a common ground. Always find that common ground and end it with a laugh.
Laugh in the devil's face.
End it with
your face.
Laugh. Because you are building up and you are fixing stuff. That's it.
And communication, if I may just add to what you just said.
Please.
Communication is not just about voicing out. Because in the early stage in our marriage, because I knew that he wasn't listening. He would just sit down there, and before I even finish my statement, he's already bringing the answer to even where I was not even thinking of going. It would take me there. And that thing used to really, really get me upset. It used to really break me, and I used to feel like, which way do I communicate? Because communication is key in this marriage. And then you know what I did? I started writing him an email. When I have something on my chest that I really want to communicate and that I really want this thing to change, to sync, then I'll get on my laptop and I'll start sending him email. Sometimes that email will go well. Sometimes it will backfire. Sometimes it even aggravates what I'm trying to say more. But the fact that I put it down is reading it, and sometimes you go over it over and over. Sometimes it could take days.
Yes.
But I'm passing my information. I'm passing what I really don't like and where I think we can be better. I'm passing on to him. Because your partner doesn't have a listening ear doesn't mean that you should stop communicating.
That's right.
Just make sure that you don't stop communicating.
Right.
Because if you stop communicating, your marriage will stop.
Right.
Is it right for me to say that?
Absolutely.
When I started doing that, all of a sudden, it changed. You now listen. And then at the end of my conversation, he would then ask me, I'm trying to understand what you're actually trying to say. Do you mean this or do you mean that?
Yeah.
Help me to understand, because I really want this to work.
Yeah, I think that's the point. Because at the end of the day, what normally happens is when you write me an email, my instinct of defense kicks in as I read. But you are not there for me to throw it in.
Yes.
So time kind of absorb that.
Right.
And by the time when I'm driving, I take my time to say, this is not the time to respond to this. This is the time for me to just think about it. And then when I finally say, let's talk about it, I'm ready to ask questions. In my past, I used to just attack and defend. Now I want to be sure that I understand what you are saying. Because unless you understand what somebody is saying, it's easy to misinterpret, especially from the heart of defense. If you want to defend something, you need to twist what the person is saying and make him go to the side of where he has to start defending himself.
Make that person right? That is the bad person.
But the truth about it is about you. This discussion is about you fixing stuff. So be open-minded about it. And that's what changed me. So I started learning how to ask questions, have an open mind, but choose your way of communicating. But in any way you choose, you can't afford not to have an open mind. You can't afford not to listen. You can't afford not to know that the person wants to build up and fix. So a lot of people are scared to have a conversation with their wives or their husband because they think it's just going to leave. No, it's not leaving anywhere. You are the one. Remember, you are the one. It doesn't matter whether it's 15 years, 17 years, 18 years, 19 years. You are the one. And that should give you confidence to communicate.
And you know, that was what was driving me to be writing email. Because at some point, I started fearing you, afraid of even talking to you. Because I would say to myself, you always have answer for everything. So I started having that fear of having you in the room and talking to you. But at the same time, I'm thinking, I shouldn't be afraid of my own husband. We are partners in here. And if this is going to work, I need to break away from that fear. And find any way way for me to communicate how I'm feeling. You were going on enjoying yourself, but I wasn't, because I want to be heard. But I'm not getting
so
through.
sorry.
I'm not getting through to you for me to be heard. Before I even communicate what's in my heart, you would have just put, like just cut it off. So, but I had to find a way to get myself there.
Thank you.
And I thank God that He gave me that wisdom today. There are many people that has been in this situation that I was. Where we are today is not where we used to be. And things has gotten better. Now it listens. Now we're able to sit in the room and have conversation without me feeling like, is he pretending to listen? Is he listening? Is he coming with a defense, or is he? Don't stop communicating. And I also want to leave this with people who are watching us. If you are with your spouse in a relationship and you have to be competing with each other, why are you in a relationship?
Oh gosh.
If your marriage becomes a competition, why are you there? I'm not in a marriage to compete with my husband. Number one, I look at myself, what exactly are you going to compare with him? He's smart, he's intelligent, he's a professional, he's good at what he does. I'm looking at myself, Mokwe, stay on your lane, because it's a lot of energy. And God has not brought us together so that we can be competing with each other, because competing with each other is not a marriage. You can't be in partnership when you have to be competing. I want to compete with you, you want to compete with me, then the house is going to be divided.
True.
Am I right?
Absolutely. And I think it's one of the challenges that relationship are. Forget about the marriage itself. Any relationship. You have a friend that's competing with you, it's no friendship. You have a colleague that's all is trying to do is compete with you. In the world, that competition is something you need to be careful.
Even among families.
You don't compete. As husband and wife, you complement one another. That's all that matters. My area of weakness is where you are strong. Where you are weak is where I am strong. The relationship leverage on my strength, the relationship leverage on your strength. Your strength counters my weakness, my strength counters your weakness. And we stay strong together.
Together.
That's it.
Together. I love it. Thank
Right.
you so much, baby, for coming on this show. You have really, really helped someone. I believe so. And if this has helped you in any way, leave us a comment and let's see how this episode has really, really blessed you and encouraged you. Listen, we are in the life of each other for a reason. And you have not been brought together so that you can be divided. Love binds us together.
Right.
And let that love keep you. Do whatever you have to do to keep your relationship going. Do your best and leave the rest to God. Thank you so much, Dr.
Thank you.
That's it for now. Thank you for tuning in today. I'm so glad that you did. I want to say thank you for our guest, Dr. Victor, for the nuggets that he shared with us today. It deeply means a lot to us, and we look forward to having him more on this show in the future. I hope these tips has helped you one way or the other. Communication is the key in your relationship, and keeping it real will surely allow you to enjoy your relationship. I hope I'll get lovely reviews from you all soonest. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this conversation in the comment section. Join me next week for another exciting episode where we'll be looking at how to keep this spark alive in your relationship. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. That's it for now. Thank you so much. Remember, stay loving, stay blessed. Until I see you again, it's SMOPPY'S was saying, God bless you.